Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Technology Drop-In Thursdays. Today is April 28th, and we are going to be looking at some stuff in PowerPoint today. I personally am not a huge big fan of user of PowerPoint, but I mean, lately I've been finding some really cool functionality. So I thought I would just show you guys some of that. And then Google Meet's got some really cool stuff. And then for the Apple users, which I know there's some of us, I'm just going to show you some really cool shortcuts that I've used over the years they're really handy. So let's get started. There's a new recording tool in PowerPoint. So when you go up into here, basically, right now, if I was to do a PowerPoint presentation, present it to this group here, it would record it with my head in the corner and everything else, just like that. But you can also do that right directly from PowerPoint. So you can go in and have it record your presentation. So this is kind of a little bit different than what they used to have, like when you used to do the presentations, I used to record it for each slide and all that. So this is a new version of it. One of the things that's nice is it's down here in the bottom. You can see that I've got, well, you can't see it because my head's in the way. Let me just get rid of my head out of here a second. Let's go back to regular screen sharing. Here we are. And okay. Can you see it now? Yeah, you should be able to see it now. So down in the bottom of the slide, and this is how it's going to appear when it records, you've got your head there. It also has a layout where any notes that you put in the slide are going to be visible. So this allows me to actually read through, and I'm looking at the camera, and this is just below the camera, so it looks like I'm looking right into the camera, which is really important when you're doing these kind of presentations. So I can go through, read it, go to the next slide. I can increase and decrease the fonts here and stuff like that. There's also the tools of, like, if I want a laser pointer, I have the laser pointer. If I want to draw on it, I can draw on this slide and stuff like that. And then when you're done, you can export it as a QuickTime or as a movie. So not a QuickTime movie, but as I believe it was MPEG-4. And one of the nice things about it is before you finish exporting it, you do have the option to go through and redo a slide. So let's say I was stumbling a lot in slide 2. I could go back and just re-record slide 2, then export the whole thing, and then bang, I've got a video that I can just post up there to Blackboard or wherever else I'm doing it. So that's the new recording feature that's in PowerPoint. I haven't seen it yet show up on the Mac side, so it's on time. In time it will be there, but right now it is available on the Windows. I haven't seen it also available on the browser. So these are certain things that obviously take a little bit more connections than the browser is going to allow. Second thing I want to talk about is 3D animation. So you can see this guy here. He looks like he's an animated person, but actually he's not. He's a 3D. And what I can do is, it means I can change the angles that he's at. Come on, let me try this again. I'm connecting on my Mac to my Windows machine. So of course everything's going to run a little bit slower, but I can change him. See how the angle there gets changed? And I can change any angle that I want because it's a 3D character. And you can insert all sorts of 3D items in there. And again, depending on what angle you want it at, depending on what you're trying to get it to do, you can change the rotation of this device here, or sorry, this piece of artwork. So notice there it's going from left to right. I can go up. I can go right upside down if I wanted to. So to do that, basically you go to Insert at the top here. You'll find 3D models. Just go ahead and click on that. We'll just use stock ones, and it's going to load up its library of 3D models that it has. Or if you're someone that's very good at this kind of arts stuff, and you can create your own 3D pieces in there. So I'm just going to find some toys because I like a rubber ducky. Who can't say yes to that? So it just takes a second because obviously it's a little more than an animated GIF. And again, I'm connecting through 2 or 3 different machines, but you'll see this little icon here, and that means basically I can change the direction of it. There we go. Get more of its face in there. So that's the 3D stuff that's available within PowerPoint, and I think maybe even Word. I have to look at that, but PowerPoint for sure. Oh, where's my stuff here? Okay. In the past, we've talked about loading up audio for web transcripts to Microsoft Word. So, or first a transcription to Microsoft Word. So basically, if you've got an audio file or a video movie or something like that, and you can pull the audio out of it, you can upload it through Word, and it will transcribe the whole thing. So basically, it's very similar to like when you have a meeting and you turn on transcripts. It's the same thing, except it's basically taking an audio source from somewhere else, and it can be anywhere, a movie, whatever, and then you upload that, and then it will go through and create a transcript. And where it can, it will say, this is speaker 1, this is speaker 2, and when these two people are talking or 3 people are talking, I will try and separate them so that you know that this is this person and this person. Before you only had, I believe it was 300 minutes. Now it is unlimited, so you can upload as much as you want. So that's within Microsoft Word. And there's a link there that takes you to the original article that we had looked at before. Google Meet has got some new features coming out, and they have some picture-in-picture. So I'm just going to quickly open up a new Meet here. Okay, so with my video, come on, show it to me. No, it's not going to do it. You know what? I had it running this morning. I knew it was going to do something wonky on me. But what ends up happening is when you, oh, maybe I need to add somebody in here. No, it didn't do it before. Let me just try something real quick. No, that doesn't do it. Okay, let me go to a different piece here. Okay, let's go into here. I'm just going to pull a Meet up in here. So this is my personal Gmail account. And this functionality and the next function I'm going to show you are rolling out. So it takes a little time sometimes for our education version to do it. But come on, finish it up. I'm going to pull up my other profile. So Jazz will be here as well. We'll get Jazz to join in on this meeting. Wow, my computer just slowed right down real quickly. I'm just going to quit some stuff, see if that helps. Patience, we're getting there. Yep, admit Jazz. And do a bunch of muting. Okay, so there we go. So here's what you can see happening down on the side here. I'll go over to here. So this is the parts in here. So you'll notice here, this is actually Jazz, but this is my window down the bottom here. So I have this little box here, and then basically what it does is it pops out the window. So now I've got my 2 different pieces, and this is my video. I can put it back into here. I can hide it and whatever I want. But the nice thing about it is when it's in this mode, I can move that preview window, my preview window, anywhere else that I want to. So I don't act, I mean, quite honestly, I don't need to see myself. I would just hide it anywhere. So this is pop-up function is a little bit nicer. You can move the video around a little bit more. So that's something that's just rolling out, and it was rolled out this morning to our McEwen stuff. So I expect it'll pop back a second. The other thing that hasn't rolled out yet, but is very, very cool, is within a document, I can start a call right from here. So a Google Meet. So if I'm working on this, Jazz is working on this, I can say, you know what, I'm tired of using the chat function, going back and forth. I'm just going to create a meeting here right away, or a Meet right away. So rather than my going into meet.new or whatever way I do it, I just click on here. It's going to launch a brand new Google Meet. I'm going to close this already, just so it says. Bring the call here, start a new meeting. And then when I'm done here, I've got this meeting running. And the nice thing about this is it's tied in and has a window directly in beside here, the document. So I have my video chat off to the one side. I'll have the video running. It'll all run off to the side here. And then I'll still be able to do this. I need to, though, go and copy this and then in the chat here or invite someone, but I need to go into the chat and invite the other participants. It doesn't automatically add whoever happens to be in the looking at the document, doesn't automatically invite them into here. So you still have to use the chat function to invite them. But once that's done, the nice thing is I now have it, instead of having two different windows where the video's off to one side and the document is here, it's now all in one screen. And you'll find that pop-out function that we were just looking at also works in there. So I can move my head around or reduce my head so I don't need to see it and then still see everything else that's going on. That was that one. Okay. That'll be kind of handy in Google Meets. I quite like that one. What else we got here? Google Meet. Oh, okay. So that's kind of the Google stuff and the Microsoft stuff for today. So I did want to show you a couple things with the Apple devices. And for those of you that are Android, I apologize. I don't have an Android device to get up to speed on and stuff like that. But there's a lot of this functionality you can still find within Android. So what I want to do is I want to talk about Notes. Notes is one of those features that some people make a lot of use out or some people don't. And the Notes can be more than just a scratch pad. We've seen them before in the past how we've used Notes for things like, hang on a second, things like a scanner. So I can take a picture and it'll scan it in, it'll do OCR, so it'll recognize the text and stuff like that. And I'm just got to, oh, they changed the view again. Where is more options? More options. I'm trying to share my screen. There it is. Share screen. We don't need the audio. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I'm now sharing my screen. Thank you very much for letting me know. So, so here I'm going to go into a note here that I have, and where's my? I'm just trying to find a decent note here. Let's use my Portugal note just for the heck. So I have a note because I'm looking at going back to Portugal again. And so what I do is as I'm going through, I collect different pieces of information, I copy and paste them in here. If you're on your browser already, though, you can have a quick link that gets added on fairly quickly into the note. So I'm going to be in my browser here for a second. And here's this website that I found that's like, oh, this is really cool. Normally, I would copy the URL at the bottom, go find the note, go into Notes, find the right note, copy and paste it in. But what you can do instead is there's the share button at the very bottom here. And when I go to share it, it's going to give me what they call the share sheet. So this is all the different places and apps that you can share with. And one of the options is Notes. So when Notes comes up, I can just hit save and it'll create a brand new note. And the new note will be called all 7 cable car, blah, blah, blah. However, I already have a note. So if I tap on where it says new note, and I'll just search for Portugal. And then there's 2020 Portugal. That's the one I want. Now, when I hit save, it's actually going to add this to the bottom of that note. So it automatically appends it to that note. So when I go in and look into my note, come on, work with me. I think this is, oh, I want 2020 Portugal. Give me a second. 2020 Portugal. Now, when I go and look at the very bottom, the last thing on the list here should be, oh, I got way too many notes in here, so let me take a second to get to the bottom. There we go. So the cable card rides. So now I've got a document that's collecting all these URLs and stuff like that. Now, that's a nice long way of going about it. There is, though, something we can do in shortcuts. So shortcuts is basically workflows and stuff. And there's a whole whack of different workflows out there that you can look at. But I just want to show you what I've done. And there's a link in the show notes here to this workflow if you want to borrow it. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to automatically go and find that note and do the same thing. So go back to the web page here. When I go to my share list here, I created this shortcut. And the shortcut will now show up down at the bottom here. So I can find one here called, and I called it Save to Portugal Notes. So when I tap that, that is basically opening up Notes, going to find the specific note that I want called 2020 Portugal, and then paste it in. This basically saves me 3 or 4 steps, saves me sometimes it's up to 30 seconds worth trying to hunt for stuff. This way I just tap on this, and in the background, it's going to do exactly everything else that we talked about. And there it goes off. So now that has been added to that list. It won't be the pretty picture. It'll just be the URL, but I don't have to go looking for it or anything like that. It just gets added to that automatically. Another script that I use a lot when I'm traveling is called my travel diary. So my travel diary is basically, you know, I take a lot of pictures, I take a lot of video, but sometimes something happens and I don't want to forget it. And I don't have time to sit here in Mickey Mouse and type in, oh, this is what happened, this is really cool, blah, blah, blah. So I have a note called travel diary. And I have a button here that I push, and I have it in a number of different places. But watch what happens. Something really cool is going to happen. I want to remember it. I click on this button. Let's give it a second. Whoops, try that again because I just created it. Oh, you're going to make a liar out of me today. Hang on, it's making a liar out of me. Give me a sec. Something else is running. Oh, I was broadcasting. I think that might have messed it up. Let me go back. I have to turn the broadcast back on. This is cool. So basically what happens with this function is I actually verbally dictate what it is that I want to be said. It will transcribe my words into text, and then it will paste it into the note just like we did before. So I'm going to try this one more time to show you because it's very cool to watch in my mind. And come on, start broadcasting. Okay, I'll use my old link here and see if that'll work. Oops, travel diary right there. So. Come on, run. Yeah, I think the fact that I'm sharing my screen is affecting it. But what happens is I will go in, I will say whatever I need to say. It will go in and paste it into the my notes called travel diary. What it also does that I quite like with it is puts in a post, the date and time. So let me just finish finding it again, travel diary. So here it is. Every time I dictate something, it puts in the date and the time in there, and then I can put in whatever it is I need to talk about and throw that in there. So it's a really easy script, and the instructions are fairly easy. So I've also put a link to that in the show notes. So if you're interested, by all means, please go ahead and you know, make a copy of that. You can go in. They're really easy to create these scripts and stuff, and I really recommend that you know, do a little more research because this stuff can save you so much time and it's so much fun. I've also put a link in there. Someone actually was created a script that every time their spouse put in or plugged in their iPhone, the iPhone actually started talking, which kind of freaked out the spouse. So that video also just demonstrates some of the things that you can do with it. That's it. That's it on scripting, and that's it on that. Is that app strictly Apple? Yes, it is. Now, having said that, Google also has its own scripting stuff that it does, part of Google Home and part of Google Home, I believe. So you can take a look at that and see what there is, or just search for Google alternative to Apple shortcuts. And there is something in there. I don't know to what degree it does stuff. I haven't played around with that, but I mean, there's definitely is other scripting tools available for the Android side of things. Any other questions? Okay, that was pretty much it. So let's just stop recording and chat around afterwards.